Our next guest hails from the state that actually brought that lawsuit, Virginia. That's my home state. He's actually my home congressman, and he was a part of the team that voted today to pass that great bill. He is a congressman from Virginia, Ben Cline. Congressman, good to have you back on the show.
John, great to be with you. Amanda, good to be with you as well.
Good to have you, sir. A lot of people saying in the last couple of days, I feel like common sense is returning to Washington. You've got that court ruling, which Virginia was a big part of, and then, of course, today's vote. Tell us what's going on behind the scenes. Is this an issue that's got big momentum?
It does have momentum because the polls are overwhelming. You have about 85% of Americans who agree that biological males should not be participating in women's sports. It's just common sense. As the father of daughters, it's common sense to them, and they're not even teenagers. So they understand that men and women are different, that they should compete in their own sex category and against members of the same sex and not have to compete against each other in sports. And so the woke left has been fighting to force biological males to be allowed into women's sports. And the bill that we passed today would prohibit that and prevent that from happening. I also want to commend our Attorney General in Virginia, Jason Miyares, who led that lawsuit, which overturned the Biden administration's Title IX rewrite that would have allowed biological males in women's sports.
Congressman, I think the inception of a lot of these conversations around the trans issue actually began in Virginia, in Loudoun County, when that father was arrested at the school board meeting. Is it your sense that, I know it's an 85% issue across the country, but is it your sense that even in states like Virginia, maybe not California and New York because they're deep blue, but states like Virginia, that it's even an overwhelmingly popular idea to bifurcate the genders?
Well, absolutely. I think it's, again, common sense. Thousands of years, we've identified two sexes. Pete Hegseth was asked today in his testimony, how many genders are there? Correctly answered 2. And so you've got this return of common sense, not only to Washington and the laws that we pass, but also I think you're seeing it reflected across the country among the American people. And hopefully you'll see that reflected in the state laws and the local laws, which is where our education decisions should be made. Unfortunately, we have too many woke leftists who are trying to mandate this ideology on Americans who don't believe it, don't want to see it, and just want to continue to have their children, boys and girls, be able to compete with their own sexes in sports in school.
It's amazing. Sir, I know you went down with the Freedom Caucus to see President Trump over the weekend. You've been a big champion of cutting government. DOGE creates a moment where the whole country can rally about common sense changes. You've got some big ideas. One of those, the One Agency Act. Tell us a little bit what you learned from President Trump about this issue and how your legislation would play a big role in it.
Sure. So President Trump is, this isn't his first rodeo. He's getting ready for his second term. He knows that the Republican conference in the House is made up of different groups. And so he's politically brilliant to bring us all down in separate groups to hear from us about the views that we have. So as part of the Freedom Caucus, I went down on Friday to Mar-a-Lago. On Saturday, the committee chairs went. On Sunday, it was the moderate caucuses. And so what you have are different views, and Trump is going to get to hear from everybody. But one of the things that happened during dinner, and Elon Musk joined us for dinner on Friday night, was that we got to talk about DOGE and his efforts to streamline the bureaucracy and eliminate inefficiencies. I have a bill, because I'm an attorney and I'm on the Judiciary Committee, which would eliminate a duplicative antitrust enforcement authority. So right now there's the Department of Justice, which has antitrust authority, and the Federal Trade Commission. But we would eliminate the Federal Trade Commission's authority when it comes to antitrust enforcement and consolidate that within the Department of Justice, so that you don't have differing understandings of the law, different legal interpretations, confusion, and inefficiency in government. And hopefully this will pass. It passed the Judiciary Committee last year, and hopefully it's something the Trump administration will support.
Common sense.
Absolutely. Could this possibly be a prototype? Because there is so much redundancy in Washington that costs taxpayers way too much money. I feel like this is an opportunity to propagate this across a ton of other agencies to consolidate. Do you?
Absolutely. You have enforcement of laws, whether it's regarding competition in business, all kinds of legal offices within different agencies that overlap, that interpret statutes differently. We have too many agencies. We have too many departments. I have a feeling DOGE is going to emphasize consolidation. We're going to have privatization, so letting the private sector come in, see what he's done for space, and you understand exactly what he wants to do with privatization. And then you see deregulation, so fewer regulations, more private sector activity and success because they have fewer strings attached to all the rules that the federal government continues to impose. So all these different tools are going to be at DOGE's disposal, and I think they're going to lean in pretty hard on them.
Yeah, exciting moment. It's a real change moment in history if we get it right. There's a lot of other things going on right now. I think one of the questions Americans have is how does the Trump agenda get through Congress? Is it one bill, two bills, five bills? What's your best sense after meeting with the president, talking to your colleagues over the last several days? What do you think the most likely pathway is at least for the House?
Well, the Speaker is looking forward to leading the charge to implement the Trump agenda. He's a smart lawyer. He knows that we've got a lot of momentum right now and that we should be trying to pass as much of the president's agenda as quickly as possible. So for those who want to first do a skinny bill and pass some immigration actions and maybe some energy actions and wait on so many other provisions until the second bill, which could come as late as fall, that's taking a chance on losing part of the agenda. So for the Speaker, who is advocating for a single bill approach, getting as much done as quickly as possible, we're hitting the ground running. The Budget Committee is going to be debating a budget resolution as early as the next week.
It's pretty exciting.
Absolutely. Congressman, when it comes to President Trump's border agenda, I know in the 118th Congress, you all were very, very fired up about fortifying the border. I imagine a good portion of his executive orders on day one are going to pertain to that. But what further can the 119th Congress do to carry that mantle?
Well, I think the president is going to use every tool at his disposal, including executive orders. But you've seen tariffs being discussed. And I think he's going to make those part of the conversation. I think tariffs have become a tool of negotiation, not only for this president, but for the current president. I mean, Joe Biden was continuing a lot of the Trump tariffs on China and other countries. And so what we're seeing is that tariff threat being used to ensure that other governments, whether it's Mexico or Canada, or China, making sure that they comply with the demands of the American people. And when it comes to America First policies, making sure that American workers are first, the American citizens are first, and our secure borders are first.
Yeah, so important. Real quickly, so I just wanted to get your impression. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it today, but Pete Hegseth's performance in the Senate and his overall messaging about what he wants to do for the Pentagon.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He performed admirably under fire in the Senate hearing today, and they tried to come at him with just about everything. You know, my own senator from Virginia, I was disappointed in the tone and tenor and direction of a lot of his questions, but I think that he performed admirably and will be confirmed very soon. I think he's going to do a great job removing the woke out of the Pentagon. I think he's going to be doing a great job of helping to improve recruitment in our military, because we've got to get those numbers up. And young men finishing high school are going to see a great leader in Pete Hegseth and want to join our armed forces as a result.
Yeah, exciting moments ahead. Sir, it's such a great honor to have you on. Everyone who lives in Shenandoah County knows what a great job you do in Congress. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good to have you.